So welcome back to the Homeowners Roof Guide podcast brought to you by Rainstoppers Roofing. We're back again with myself, Jake Benniger, and Mr. Scott T-Bay. And today we're going to dive into something that as a homeowner you pay into, and sometimes before you sell your home, you might not even use it, but when you do need it, it's a good thing you have it, and that is insurance. I know with the storms that just passed through our area, a lot of people in the Middle Ohio Valley are needing to file claims and stuff like that. And today we're going to dive into that a little bit and see what the process is like, and maybe some hidden facts that you might not know going into it. So, Scott, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Doing good. We're 1,000 mile an hour trying to keep up with all the incoming damage that our customers have had. Yeah, our customers and new customers. It's a lot of people having a lot of issues. We're trying to help as many as we can.
Absolutely. I'm typically behind the desk doing marketing or just getting videos, but this week's been a little crazy. We've been out running, meeting with insurance adjusters and homeowners, and just all over the valley. I guess for someone who just bought a home, they have home insurance and the storm came through, they might not be sure of where to start. Where would someone start right after they have storm damage?
Yeah, I mean, and this goes for people that's owned their house for 50 years or they've owned it for 5 weeks. It doesn't make much difference. As long as you have insurance, the process is fairly similar. Ideally, you talk to a professional first just to not waste a bunch of people's time and make sure that there is, in fact, damage before you file the claim. Typically, the agent wants to know what you're putting a claim on. So, are you claiming the roof, the siding, the gutters, the air conditioner unit, your fence, all of the above? So that's why it's nice to have a consultation with a professional first. And then once that's done, what we like to do is we'll show you the damage, show you what we found, and then you call your agent. You go ahead and file the claim. They'll give you a claim number. They'll schedule an adjuster. The adjuster will be in touch with a time frame that they're going to be able to come out and take a look at the damage. And at that time, that's when you really, really need someone like us or another professional roofing contractor is at that point of when the adjuster's going to be at the job site, because insurance companies don't make money by paying out claims. They make money by not paying out claims and taking your monthly payment. That's the business model. The adjusters are typically, their job is to try to ignore or try to overlook as much damage as possible unless it's pointed out to them. Now, luckily in the state of Ohio, there are certain laws that do kind of dictate certain things, especially in roofing, on insurance claims. So we do have that going for us. But if you don't have someone there that knows where to point out the hail impacts or find the creased shingles from the wind or whatever, if you don't have someone there to represent you and you don't know what you're looking at, that adjuster is probably going to give it the 100-mile-an-hour look over and go back and not end up awarding the claim. You got to be real careful. You got to have someone in your corner that's going to look out for your best interest in an area that most people don't have expertise. Once that's done, typically, let's say we get it approved. There's enough damage to warrant an approval. And that may be one slope of a roof. It may be a repair. It may be the whole thing. It may be a wall of siding and the whole roof, whatever it is. Once they award that, then, you have the ability to sign a contract with your contractor, get the project started. But that doesn't always mean it's the end. There's a thing called supplement. So in the world of supplementation, we go to take the siding off the house, and there's no vapor barrier behind the siding. By law, we are required by code to install vapor barrier. And we have to bring that home up to code anytime we do a project. So insurance, most policies are wrote that they have to pay for that additional charge to the homeowner for us to be able to perform the work up to code.
If we can take a step back to the adjuster and contractor, yesterday I had my first experience working with an adjuster, and luckily, like, the guy I had was pretty cool, and it wasn't a painful experience. I know, like, from what I've seen on social media with guys that just like almost wrestle with the adjuster on the roof. I was a little nervous about it because I got a tight back. I don't know if I could take him down, and he was a pretty stout guy. I can see why it would be important to have that contractor there because especially it gets close to the end of the day, like or if it's a long day, like a 12-hour day, they're looking at a ton of jobs and they're just running through. Even if they intend on getting the homeowner as much as they can, they might miss stuff still. And it's good to have the contractor there with fresh eyes to catch everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that makes 100% sense because the big thing with these adjusters are their job only matters when it's chaos. Like, and I don't mean that in a negative way towards adjusters, but nobody's having an adjuster at their house unless chaos happened, right? Which is a crazy storm or a big event or something. So, yeah, when they show up, it's because there's 10,000 people filing claims. You know what I mean? Not just three. Like, that's not usually how this goes. You know, you'll obviously have your
Hmm.
one-off deals where somebody had a house fire or something. But when it comes to storm restoration, when storm restoration adjusters show up, it's they're working 12, 16 hours a day from one to the next to the next to the next as fast as they can go. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, even if they're on your side, they still might miss things. So it's good to have a trained eye looking for that on your behalf the whole time.
Or even if the contractor that is on the premises isn't doing the work, it's still a good idea to have one there.
Yeah, I agree. Note to make on that statement though, as a homeowner, understand us contractors, we're working really hard to help get you this project covered as little out of pocket as we can get you. We put a lot of effort into this. Like everybody thinks that we don't, we're just, contractors are taking advantage of homeowners. That happens plenty. But if I show up to your house, I do the inspection. I give you this full inspection report of photos. I've climbed all over your roof. I've measured things out. I've spent some real time there. And then I come back. I meet with the adjuster. I battle with them guys during the inspection and after because we usually have to have some email correspondence back and forth because they never pay the full amount on the first go. That's never the case. This is a process that takes time and it takes debate. So I've put a lot of work into this. Don't be the guy that has one contractor do all the legwork, gets the insurance carrier to pay the full bill for everything, and then go out and hire a cheaper contractor and pocket a few $1,000. Understand, you're literally just let us work for free for multiple hours, 8, 10 hours. We did all that work for free, and then you gave the job to someone else. Like, keep that in mind when you're going through this. That's just not a good customer. That's not being a good homeowner and a good part of the community. If you want to put in the work yourself, you can do it. You can go do it yourself. If you're confident in your knowledge of whatever roofing side and whatever, you can do all that work yourself and then go get your own bids and do it as a retail job. Absolutely. But if you're going to let somebody do all the legwork just to not work with them when it comes time to actually complete the project, we've had that happen a couple of times, and it always stings just a little extra for some reason.
Yeah, and as a homeowner, contractors talk. They talk to each other, even if we're not, especially if we're not in the same field. Like, we have friends that you have a lot more friends than I do that are in other trades, but like I have friends in concrete, I have framing friends, and if there was a job that really stuck out, like they would talk. You're probably not going to get a good deal on
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
your
that's right.
next project is.
Yep. Especially in a small community like Marietta, we all know each other, so it's not real hard to kind of get to the bottom of it. But yeah, it's just be a good person. If you're going to let somebody do all the work, award them the opportunity to do the project.
So earlier you had said something a little bit about supplement, and can you dig into that a little bit and what that means?
Yeah, so basically, like, there's certain things during the project that can't be they're the unforeseens most of the time. A lot of times it's the unforeseen things. For instance, like in vital siding, there's a weather barrier that's behind there, and if that weather that's required by code. If the last guy that installed siding on that house, maybe that wasn't required by code at that time. So let's say there's no weather barrier behind the siding. Well, we won't know that until we go tearing that siding off, right? We tear it off and notice that. Well, we have to put it back. By law, we have to follow building code and it requires it. So what we can do is instead of you, the homeowner, having to pay us an extra $1,000 to install vapor barrier, we can issue a supplement to the insurance company and say, hey, Mr. Adjuster, this job required that we install new vapor barrier because it didn't have any. We photo document it. We make sure we do all of our due diligence, making sure we track everything that we do. We turn that in, and they will issue a supplement check for the amount that it cost to get that additional work done. Doesn't cost you anything. It's not something that's hurting you. Plywood on a roof, right? Say we go tearing off a shingle roof that was covered. If there's gaps in the board gaps in your roof boards, I think it's 3/4 of an inch. By code, we have to install a layer of OSB sheeting over top of that decking. If we run into that, we're not going to know that prior to the install, right? So we would issue a supplement. Hey, Mr. Insurance, this is what's going on. We got to bill you for 80 some sheets of OSB. It's going to be $2,500. They issue the supplement check to us. Now, they actually issue it to the homeowner, and the homeowner pays us, reimburses us for that. Yeah. So but again, if you hire I've seen so many guys. I literally saw a concrete company advertising roofing the other day. So there was someone else. What was it? Oh, it was a power washing company and a concrete company advertising, selling roofs in Marietta. Those guys don't do this every day. Nothing against them. I mean, I'm not saying roofing's the most difficult trade in the world by it's not, but to get through these processes, you have to understand what's going on. And if you haven't done it before or had someone train you on all of the ins and outs of that line of business, the chances of having success are really, really low. So it's best to just work with a reputable roofing contractor to get this stuff done.
Like when we had originally talked about storm chasing and all that, like that was like a pipe dream thing. I guess not even a pipe dream, but like it was like far off concept. I was like, we ain't ever gonna see that for a while. And then the next week, we have people from all over, like Texas, and we were actually looking at a job yesterday, and there was a guy parked right in front of me flying a drone, and he had Florida plates, and so they're from all over the place, and they're just racking up in the hotels and going after it.
Yeah. So these guys, it's hilarious. Actually, the last time we did this was people don't realize we recorded that like 3 weeks before the storm. It was,
Yeah.
we pre-recorded and then we posted later, which is really funny. But everything I said in that holds completely true. Like these guys come in from out of town, they get you to sign these contingency agreements, which there's nothing wrong with contingency agreement, but they get you to sign them. They take a big deposit for doing any work. They'll go put a tarp on your roof, even though it's hail damage. It doesn't even need tarp technically. But what they do is they charge you that $500 tarping bill. That way you are legally stuck with them no matter what. And so, understand that they put your roof on. They live in Texas or wherever they live. They come put your roof on. They leave. They are never coming back. Like ever. They're not coming back. So if that thing leaks on day one, that's what you're stuck with. That's what you're getting. So when you do business with us or any of the other local guys, you know where our office is at. Like, and I mean, one of our biggest things is warranties. So my entire team understands when we get a call about a warranty issue, they've got 24 hours to either resolve or have a plan in place to resolve that issue. So like that's one of our biggest I would say one of our biggest sales tools is how good we are, getting back to issues. We don't claim to be perfect. We know we're not, but we just always try to take care of people when they have an issue that we created. Those guys aren't coming back. That's just and if you think any different, it's delusional because why would you drive from Texas back to Ohio to do a repair? You're just not doing it. So, and not only that, we'll probably never see a storm like this again in any duration of time that contractor is ever going to be back here to chase another storm, right? So, yeah, it's not a good idea to do a lot of business with those guys. Yes, they know what they're doing. They're very good at the insurance game. There's no because would you travel halfway across the country if you didn't know what you were doing? Probably not. They're very good at it, but that's going to be the it's going to be a really tough process if you ever have an issue. That's what I would leave it at.
So that's about all the time we have for this episode today. Thank you, Scott, for hopping on here and taking time away from your busy schedule to do this. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and we will answer them. So thank you for tuning into the Homeowners Roof Guide.